much time do you spend writing? I'll leave it open-ended. Do you have a few other hobbies? Like, do you go out dancing or do you roller
I
skate
play indoor
anymore?
bowls.
What is it?
I play indoor bowls.
What would you say has been the most beneficial and moved you forward the most in consideration to book writing venture?
Uh, yeah.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Empowering Voices podcast. In this podcast, we are able to share unique and empowering stories from authors, entrepreneurs, and change makers. I am your host, Melissa Guccione, and welcome to the show. I am also an author, a client of Book Writing Venture, and an official referral associate. So it's my pleasure to be able to host this podcast. I do invite our audience just to take a second or two, and please like our show here today, comment if you have any questions, and consider subscribing too. And go ahead and share that out because we like to get these things out to as many people as possible, as many aspiring authors as we can reach. So also as a reminder, if you would like to connect with any of our guest authors or Book Writing Venture, again, please leave a comment below or email us directly. So without further ado, book lovers, it's story time. And I am so excited today to introduce a very special guest, Jane Cheverton. Hello, Jane. Hello, and how are you?
Hello. Fine, thank you.
And I hope I'm saying your name correctly. I do like to double check. Jane
Yes,
Cheverton.
that's correct. Yes.
Very good. Okay. Well, I'll talk about the book, and then I'm going to ask you a few questions about yourself. Okay. The book we are discussing today is The Pacific Dinosaurs.
Yes.
And that is your first book. Is that correct?
It is my first book, yes.
Okay, well, we'll get into those others in just a short bit. But so first of all, just thank you for being on here today and to share your story with our audience. There's always a very unique story from every single author. So you grew up in England.
Yes.
Great Britain. What was the city or town, maybe, of your birth?
I was born in Oxford.
Born in Oxford. Okay.
Yes.
And you grew up there then?
No, my parents moved to Tunbridge Wells in Kent when I was only 8 months old.
Okay.
I lived there until I was 12. And then my father's job moved us north. And I spent the next 5.5 years in Windermere.
And that brought you, go ahead.
Yeah.
And that brought you to what age? Was that just after
16.
high school or college? Maybe?
Yes, that was high school, yeah, 16.
Okay, very good. And I read in some of your author's notes that you eventually became a nurse.
A nursery nurse.
A nursery
but
nurse.
I also did primary care baby nursing. So I'm also a neonatal nurse, yes.
Oh, well, that sounds like both a challenging and rewarding way to, help people. Did you do that for a very long time?
No, not for a great deal of time. I've worked with children from the age of birth to 7 years, but I did go with older children when I worked with special needs in a primary school.
Very good. All right. See, we're just kind of building that, always been around children. There was something that kind of brought you to storytelling, teaching assistance course at Edge Hill University. Is this
correct,
where
yes.
you really started developing some of your storytelling?
It is. We had an exercise to write a fairy story on a computer. That was the exercise.
Okay.
And I thoroughly enjoyed doing it. And that was the first time I started writing a children's story. That was my first attempt. And
yes.
Afterwards, I played around a bit with it. And, that's what got me started, really.
And at that point, so you're saying now you're like, oh, this is going well. I think I can go ahead and write books.
Yeah.
Yes, and
Yeah,
where
children's books.
did you try and publish anything in those early phases, or?
I did try once, but I didn't actually complete it.
Yes.
But that was it. But I had a stronger reason to write the books because when I worked special needs, I realized that for older children who hadn't learnt to read when they were young, that they needed different books because they'd been stuck on the early reading books for years. They needed something they could read with an adult that they would understand and enjoy a story. So that's one of the reasons why I started writing them.
Oh man, that's really nice. You saw a need there and went ahead and used your creativity and got something done. Absolutely. Inspiration is defined as, well, one way you could say inspiration is defined as an inner awakening. I particularly like that, or realization of a sense of purpose. So that sounds pretty much like where you were at that point. You were inspired to do something that was not only creative, but helpful, educational, helpful. Must have
Yeah.
given these kids a much better way to learn, through
Well,
storytelling.
I did find it worked, particularly with one child of 8 and 9 that was disabled, and he'd been stuck on early reading books for about 3 years,
Okay.
and he got nowhere. But when he started reading, I actually took in Ladybird books. I don't know what America has, but I actually took in Ladybird books like The Three Billy Goats Gruff, The Three Little Pigs, and I read those with him. And because it was an actual story, he then wanted to try and read them, and that was the basis of what I did. But he
So
couldn't.
yes, keep going.
Yeah, because when they're 8 or 9, even though he was disabled, they need more than just this is a dog, this is a cat. It's not of interest to them at that age.
Absolutely. I think we take for granted sometimes both the imagination and the capacity of people, that can learn through creativity, how
Yeah.
much it expands the way that we learn. We know that now because we have to have art, we have to have music, we have to have these imagination in our lives to be fulfilled. So I must have given you great pleasure, to be able to see that your efforts were helping people.
Yeah, it did. Yeah.
Very good. So well, let's talk about the Pacific Dinosaurs. And so that came out. Has it been a year now? Has it been out about a year or so, or a little
Yes,
more?
about a year. Yes.
Okay. And so what was it that brought you to this particular idea? So it's your first book. So what brought you to that decision?
Well, I'm well aware that children love dinosaurs, particularly boys, really.
Yeah.
Anything to do with dinosaurs really seems to be an appeal. I think there's quite a lot of things out about dinosaurs. Yeah.
Yes.
But I really
Yeah.
thought it would appeal. Yes. A story
Well,
about
yes,
dinosaurs.
you have a very, an audience already out there. People are absorbing dinosaur material like crazy.
Mm.
And it seems to have never gone out of style. It's I was fascinated as a youth. I'm sure you too, right?
Yes.
They're
Yeah.
yeah, it's a
Yeah.
fascinating part of the animal kingdom. So through the Pacific Dinosaurs, I got to read it, and then I got to see the YouTube version,
Mm.
and so that was very fun. It was playful. There was teamwork involved. These guys they had a problem. They didn't have enough to eat. They had to go out and figure out how to do things,
Mm.
and then they got help along the way. So um, there's a lot of value in the story itself, and a
Mm.
lot of things that we can learn for ourselves as human beings. what were you hoping that the kids would learn besides entertainment? I mean,
Well, helping each other. But one of the things we did in reception, one of the first things the children do in reception is actually learn about people who are helping them. So it sort of goes along with that. They do things like the school crossing patrol and the nurses or the doctors, people that help them. They do that in reception anyway here, which is 4 to 5. Yeah, yes.
4 to 5
years old. They do that here.
Thank you. Okay. And so again, yeah, teaching them at this early age about, again, communication, cooperation, teamwork. And these are the goals, right, of both the characters in the story, and then hopefully to teach the children. And well, we all need to do that. There's a lot of it in the world, but we could do a little better. Helping each other, right, and connecting. Well, the writing a book is a big undertaking for most people. There's more to do there than most people think when they first get started. Can you share with us what was the most challenging part about writing your book? And then what steps did you take to overcome that?
Well, I think actually getting it to look as a book. You know what I mean? I mean, I did bits of it, but then I had to join it off. And I think that was the hardest bit, joining the various bits together.
Yes, I do understand. Absolutely.
And also I had to get someone else to do the illustrations. I'm not a good enough artist to do the illustrations. So I had to wait and see how that would work out too from my writing. Someone put my ideas into pictures.
Absolutely. Well, and then there's so many styles too. Did you have to go through several styles till you landed on one, or how did that part go? How was the process in picking the illustration?
Well, French just sent me them, and they seemed very good. Yeah, what they'd done. Yeah, with the covers and that, I chose from 1 or 2, but mainly they did it. I approved it in black and white, and then they did them in color.
Okay.
And they are nice and bright and colorful for children, which is what I wanted.
Indeed. I know their brains are still wide open to that color, you know, and all that involves. It's really, I know, it's very effective. Let's see. So you were doing the writing. You knew you needed help with the illustration, and so the book writing venture, you know, came into play there. Let's see. I'm so sorry. I just lost my place, hon. So basically, it's because the next question was answered, and it was about book writing venture supporting you in the areas that you couldn't do it yourself, and working with them. Was the process new to you, and how did you like it? How did you like the process?
It was new to me. Yes, but yeah. I felt it was fairly clear. You know, the way they did it.
Good.
You know, I was able to see what was happening and that it was coming together.
There was an organization there for you that you could follow, you know, coming down the line, right?
Yeah.
Always helpful. Lots of emails, right, Jane? Lots of emails, you know it. Well, is your book getting closer to being a bestseller? And do you know, is there a way to track that?
I haven't been able to track it completely. I'm not sure how many I've sold, to be honest with you. So, but
yes, keep going.
I was going to say, but I have got some royalties, so I must have sold a few.
Good. That must be a very exciting moment as well.
Yeah.
Yes, you said, something rang, you know, the little ding into your bank account, and you went, what? Did you hear that? I'm a
Yeah.
published author. Congratulations, Jane. Well, let's see. I know that you have a couple of books. Again, we'll get to that in just a moment, but I'm curious, are you writing full time, or how much time do you spend writing? I'll leave it open ended.
No, I don't write full time, but I'm retired.
Oh, beautiful.
But I do have quite a lot of things I do as well. But I write when I get the inspiration, really, to do it.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I like that feeling. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
You kind of push stuff aside to sit down at your desk or wherever you write, and yeah, and say,
Yeah,
something's here, right? Something's here. Let's see what comes out.
yeah.
Well, gosh, I know writing is an absolutely, it's challenging in a lot of ways, but there's, it's so rewarding, absolutely rewarding when you start to
Yeah.
get those thoughts and feelings out there, and you can see it, like you said, coming into a story finally. And so let's see, do you have a few other hobbies? Like, do you go out dancing, or do you roller
I
skate
play indoor
anymore?
bowls.
What is it?
I play indoor bowls,
Okay,
and yeah.
explain what that is.
Uh, well, it's in the church hall. Uh,
Okay,
we have a mat, a sloped mat with different points on from 20 to 100,
okay,
and you roll the bowls from one end of the hall onto the mat, and if your whole ball goes in, you get that many points, and
okay.
obviously they add up in the end. We usually do 6 rounds, but we actually did 9. I did it yesterday, and I won yesterday. I don't often win, but I did win
Hey.
yesterday.
Well, yeah,
So
congratulations.
yeah, well, it's a social thing as well. We sit down and have a drink and a cake, cup of tea afterwards. It's a nice social thing as well.
Beautiful.
Um, I also belong to a book club.
Ah, very
Um,
nice.
yes, but that is a group of us. But you have a mother reader, and we take it in turns to read, and she decides what we read.
Okay,
Sometimes it's poetry, sometimes it's short stories. Sometimes we'll spend a few weeks reading a novel,
okay.
and we take it in turns to read and go round. And it's every Friday that we go. Yeah, yeah.
And
So
then
that's
do you have
interesting.
discussion about a particular
We do
chapter
discuss
or a
them. Yes, we
particular
do. Yeah,
phrase?
yeah.
Yes.
And it's introducing me to things like poetry that I hadn't
Yeah,
really done much with. So it's
yeah.
interesting to me to see new things that I haven't tried. Yeah,
I'm always fascinated at 10 people reading the one paragraph and coming up with 10 different interpretations of that.
yeah,
I love that. I love how it's subjective, and we each have our own, filters in which we pass that information through.
mm,
So you get to, and there's things like I never would have thought of it this one particular way if I hadn't heard
yeah.
it from, a different source. So it's enriching and empowering. Well, what would you say to aspiring authors who are considering, like maybe they've struggled a little, trying to put their full project together, and they might be looking for help? What might you say to someone in a conversation about book writing venture?
Uh, I'd keep going, and you know, um, well, take it to somewhere like Book Writing Venture if you've got sufficient to do so. But
Yes,
keep rewriting it if you're not sure whether you've got it right. Do it once and then think about it. Go back another day and do it again, and so on until you've actually got something that you think is worth giving to Book
yes,
Venture or something similar. Yeah, and let them help you make it into a book.
exactly. Did you feel comfortable when you first approached them in conversation, asking them questions?
Yes, I did. Yes, yeah, yeah,
That's important. Sometimes it almost seems a silly question, but there's a lot going on in the world, and customer service is changing. We find we're getting a lot more, voicemail or AI, assistance and stuff. So when you get to talk to an actual person, I feel I am happy with that still.
Mm.
And I know a book writing venture, David, that you work with as well, he's also my agent, and he couldn't be more professional and more timely. So I appreciate that human personal touch very much.
Yes.
Well, let's see. You personally, now, one of my questions is how you changed after writing the book, but you've been writing a long time. So I'm just going to switch that a little because I know that you've written a long time, but then finally this story published. So anything different after that particular, once you really got the book out there, you saw it, you're holding it in your hand. Um, did anything change in your life there?
Well, I think it made me more confident having successfully completed a
Yeah.
book, a children's book. Yeah, and put it. Yeah, people were very flattering about it and very supportive of what I'd done.
Yes.
Yeah, and I found that good for me. Yes. Yeah.
Take a few deep breaths in there, right? I love that. Oh man, I like that. Anytime we have a chance to feel confident, and feel good about ourselves, I say good for us.
Mm.
Well, your dedication to helping children all of your life, it shows, and it shows in the books that you write. Um, if you don't mind, I wanted to know what order, that your books are in. So usually I
Yeah.
would Google something like that so I could see. But since Chat GPT is all the rage now, are you familiar with that? The
With what?
AI
Sorry.
Chat GPT?
No, I'm not.
Okay, basically it's an AI model. It's an open source AI model that is available for free to everyone on the internet. And
Okay.
so it's I've been using it, playing with it, seeing how it works and so forth. So instead of Google, I decided to put your name into Chat GPT. Now this is the AI model, all right? And it was very short. I just asked for your books in chronological order. And the first sentence was so nice. This is why I want to share it. So Chat GPT says, Jane Cheverton is a children's author known for her engaging and heartwarming stories. Here is a list of her books in chronological order. And these books showcase Jane Cheverton's talent for creating engaging stories that resonate with children and adults alike. Well, wasn't that a nice endorsement from AI?
Very nice. Yes. Very nice. Yes.
I
Thank you.
know. I thought so too. It was just simple and right to the point. So, gosh, that was kind of fun there. So I see you have the Pacific Dinosaurs.
Yeah.
The next one is the Ducks of Eskdale Farm. Is that right?
Yes.
Eskdale Farm.
Estelle. Yes.
Thank you. And that follows, just briefly, that follows Dolly and Sam the Duck, and they navigate life on Eskdale Farm, highlighting
Yeah.
themes of resilience and community.
Yeah.
That's going to be fun. A lot of people don't know about farms, farm animals, and that way of life. There's a lot of city folk in the world, so I think that's going to, that's a fabulous way to just
Yeah.
introduce more kids to a little bit different way of life and possible to anyone.
Mm-hmm.
So your third and fourth book here, and they look like maybe continuation. So the third one says Further Adventures of the Pacific Dinosaurs.
That's correct. It's
And
the next one to this one. Yes, it is. It's the next book to that. Again
so
with the Pacific Dinosaurs.
what were you feeling that made you know that you had to have more to the story? What was coming through you?
Well, I certainly felt I could do a second book on them.
Mm-hmm.
I've introduced a few more characters, a few more dinosaurs into the second book. Yeah, I did. I introduced a family, really, in the second book.
Okay.
Yeah, a family of dinosaurs are introduced in the second book.
And is that one published also?
Yes, that's also
It
published.
is. Okay. All right. Well, good. And then the same for the fourth. Now it's going to go back to the ducks, or the return of the ducks of Eskdale Farm.
Yeah, that's another one, another continuation of the ducks. Yes.
And that's just coming out this year, this
Yes.
month?
That has just come out as well, yes.
Okay. Well, look at you. 1, 2, 3, 4. Good for you. Keep them coming. Keep them coming. In your the current book, we're talking about the Pacific Dinosaurs. I was really interested in the names that you chose. And let's see, like Lenosaurus. It's not Saurus. Lenosaurus.
Yeah.
Tenosaurus. Cenosaurus. Can you tell me how you came up with those names, and do they mean something special?
You know, a Tenosaurus is the name of a dinosaur. And I played around with Osaurus to make them all similar dinosaurs. You know, like Osaurus is like the surname. Do you know what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
Yeah. So I just played around with putting letters in front and making different Osaurus names. That's really how I did that. Yeah.
Well, I liked them. As I was listening, that question came. I'm like, well, how did she come up with that? Really, I loved it. I loved it very much. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Well, how has your life changed? You're writing books pretty regularly. Has there been big changes? I'll just ask one question at a time. Now that you're writing these books, from before, let's say from before you wrote your first one to what you're doing now.
Because I'm retired, it doesn't make a big difference to my life. It's not like I've given up a job to do it.
Right.
But it's given me a purpose, certainly. You know, and to do something that, to be honest, I felt that I wanted to do when I was trying to teach special needs children that were really struggling to read. You know, I feel as if I've finally done something, hopefully, to help them.
Absolutely. I know that some people think about maybe going out into their local areas, doing book signings or a book readings, maybe going to schools or children care homes. Is any of that interesting to you? Have you thought about maybe doing some in-person work?
Yeah, I have thought about it, but I haven't as yet done any. Unfortunately, I no longer drive, so I'm more restricted now on how far I can get. If you understand, it's not as easy when you don't drive to go to a lot of different places.
We have become so reliant on driving that we don't consider many other ways to get around.
Well, believe you me, the public transport system in this country leaves a lot to be desired.
Yes, us too. And I think ours is worse than yours. I think. Oh my goodness, Jane. So I love to ask authors about who their favorite author is. And the author can be living or past. But if you'll let us know, who is your favorite author, and then why? Why are they your favorite?
Jane Austen.
Good choice.
Nonsense dead, but I like history anyway. I'm interested in history. And they're lovely romantic novels that give a very clear picture of the time. Yeah. And they're good, clean reading, if you what I mean.
Yes.
I read them first when I was about 12 to 14. That's when I first read those.
Okay.
And I've reread them loads of times. I've seen the films. Yeah. everything like that about them. Yeah,
Beautiful storytelling,
they are
classic. I mean,
classic. Yes,
right?
they are classic.
I'm looking 1811 as her first published book, I believe, of
Yes, Pride
Sense
and
and
Prejudice.
Sensibility. Or was it?
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's, I mean, and then look at how they hold even today. You
Oh
know, they're
yes,
still
even today they're great. Yeah.
people are still doing Hollywood's still doing remakes every so many years, on those
Yes.
stories.
Yes.
And each time with great success. So that makes a lot of sense. And
Mhm.
I have several people around me. I've read a few, but like I moved over to, you can see, this way, you can see by my quote here by Stephen King. I picked up on him and had been swept away by the time I was 13 by Stephen King.
Mhm.
So instead of romance, I was scaring myself, doing something like that. But my sister and then my sister-in-law, who is British also, cannot talk about Jane Austen enough. So, hey, in a few months, 6 months or so down the road, you'll have some more books. Maybe we'll have you on again. I'll get Christine in here, and you two can talk about Great Britain. We might not ever get you off the horn, huh?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But still, wonderful to talk to another country fellow. Yes,
Yes.
indeed. So, oh, okay. Sorry, honey. Um, I want to talk to you a little bit about marketing your book and then a couple of things in there. The first question is going to have to do with the YouTube video that you made of the book. Can you
Yes.
tell me how did you first get the idea, and then maybe a few
Well,
steps
the
and how?
idea came from David.
Oh, wonderful.
David suggested them. Yeah. Yeah. It was his
Okay.
idea. Yes. And yeah, I was happy to do them. I thought they would be good as a to publish the books
Absolutely.
and get the children interested in the stories as well.
Yeah, the moving visuals, it just adds another dimension. That's absolutely. And so, was this the first time? Did you work on setting up the YouTube channel with him,
Yes, it was. Yes,
and it was
I'm
your
too
first
old
try
to
and
be
be
very
right?
internet savvy,
Okay.
to
It
be
takes
honest
us
with you.
takes us boomers. We're getting there though, right? We're getting there.
Yeah, yeah.
One boomer step at a time.
Mm.
So was it difficult, challenging to set the
Um,
channel up?
Not too bad once I was told what to do.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, once someone tells me what to do, I can do it usually. Although sometimes I still can't work it, but most of the time I can. Yeah.
Yeah, hon. I
My
gotcha.
kids show me what to do half the time,
I love that.
if I
Yes.
get stuck, yeah.
I know our kids, they're brilliant. They grew up with it and it's just so second nature, first nature
To
to
them,
them,
yes, it
second
is.
nature to
Yeah.
us. So good. Well, I'm glad that's out there. That's just another way, like you said, and then they don't have to wait to read. I mean, shoot, everyone has a phone these days. They can sit right there and anywhere they need to and pull up a wonderful cartoon for you.
Mm.
So to get that out a little bit more, any other ideas for marketing? We have a package, a press release package that goes to 180 media outlets of all, for books, publishing, everything.
Mm.
So that's something. I wonder if you'd be interested in talking to us about that.
Yes, that might be.
Right, B? Okay. Of course, you need a little more information. Can we send an email with some information in regards
Yeah.
to what that can
Yes,
do for
certainly.
your,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. All right, I appreciate that, hon. We talked about, well, maybe book signings or not. Oh, the other thing too, I don't know. It's just an idea that popped up in the book writing world. People are trying to set themselves apart from just every other children's book cartoon.
Mm.
One or two people are, instead of reading their book at the bookstore, at the physical location of the bookstore, they're putting that on YouTube. They sit in their own library and they take the book, and just like you would be reading to kids at the bookstore, you're just doing it for the camera. And right. And then you could put those, it's just a little different way to kind of set yourself apart. So I just wanted to throw that out there. And I don't know if you want to consider practicing with it. It just sort of
I'd
gives.
have to, yes.
Right? I know, but we'll see.
Quite happy to do it, but I would have to practice, I think.
I know, it's a little
I am
interesting
used to reading stories with looking after kids for years.
Yes.
I've read a lot of stories to children.
Well, then it's that's part of you. That's your authenticity is going to come right through as you're reading. And the only thing you need to decide is have what a cute little, setting behind you to make it a little interesting, and let your heart read the book.
Yeah.
So, well, if you end up playing with that, you got to send me an email and tell me if you're playing with it. I'd be glad to watch or help with it any way I could.
Okay, thanks. Yeah,
That's
thank
wonderful. Now, I ask a lot of authors too about considering an Audible book, but yours being so short, it doesn't make sense maybe to have, because it's on YouTube. So there it is, more as the Audible.
you.
But once you get enough books, you might be able to do a collection. And let's say you write 10 short stories or something like that. And those can be put now you have, when those are all read over, you might have an hour or an hour and a half of children's books on Audible. So these are the kinds of things as we like to develop and expand our ways of getting our product and our services out there. So I hope you don't mind me bringing that up to you. So again, pencil that in and just see if it's something that, that works for you or we can help you with.
Well, I'm well aware that children with hearing problems, with eyesight problems, would appreciate more audiobooks. There aren't that many audiobooks out, are there, really, for them?
Correct.
I have taught a child who had eyesight problems, so I do know what it's like. I actually did a course at sign language at one point to help a child that I was looking after.
Is this good job?
Yeah.
Good job to you.
For hearing children. Yeah, children couldn't hear. Yeah.
Well done. Oh, hon, you have so many special gifts that you bring to the world. What a pleasure to hear about them and that you can share them with more people. Can you tell us, in your overall experience with book writing venture, what would you say has been the most beneficial and moved you forward the most in consideration to book writing venture?
Well, I have to say, again, really, that the fact that they've done an excellent job on the pictures has really made the book. And that's the main thing that I think they have done for me, really.
Yeah. Absolutely. And as we talk about visual, we are in a visual world. And so that does matter. It matters. It's high on the list. Very good. Jane Cheverton. Well, it has been an absolute pleasure having you here on the show and getting to know a lot more about you. Your stories are adorable. They're educational. They're fun. And your personal life story has been an inspiration. The way that you have been able to help so many, and now you're just helping people in a slightly different way and with a lot of creativity. I believe that your books are on their way to the hearts of millions. Millions will enjoy your books before you're through.
Thanks.
I know. It's been really nice getting to know you again. For those interested in reading the Pacific Dinosaurs and the other books that we mentioned, they're available. So they're on Amazon, correct, in paperback and Kindle. And did you have a hardback edition? I don't remember.
Someone else did a hardback edition, yes, of
Okay.
the first,
All right. But it's out there.
of the third and the fourth book.
Okay. All right. And then, of course, you have the YouTube. What is your YouTube channel name? Is it the...
Sorry,
Yeah, right. Gotcha.
I'm not going to be able to answer that one.
Is it the name of the book, or does it have your name? Do you remember?
I think it has my name, Jane
Okay.
Cheverton. I think.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, David, I'm sure David knows. We'll have him put it in the comments.
He'll know. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. He keeps track of everything. Oh my goodness. I love that. And okay, so you're on YouTube, maybe Audible, you know, a little ways down the road. We'll see if something will make a whole new way of having for children's books, right? Audible
Okay.
for kids. I'm going to talk to the audience just for a moment, Jane. Hold one sec. And I just want to say thank you to everyone who's here listening to Jane and the lovely authors that we get to have on. Thank you for being part of this Empowering Voices podcast. Writing a book is a very deeply personal journey, and that we hope that every episode inspires you to pursue your best work. And we are here to provide practical tools, encouragement, and support for your writing journey. Because your story, every story matters, and it deserves to be told. So we invite you to come and ask us some questions and see how we can help. All right, Jane Cheverton, thank you. The Pacific
Okay.
Dinosaurs, thank you for being
Thank you.
here.
Thank you very much.
Passionate and well-spoken. We're going to have you back on again. We're going to check in with you about 6 to 8 months and see what's happening in your life. And we appreciate you being here today.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, audience, leave a comment for us. Let us know what you guys need to move forward. And we're here to help. We will get right back to you. It's always a pleasure being here from Book Writing Venture. And I'm your host, Melissa Guccione. Until next time, Book Writing Venture is your partner in success. So keep dreaming big, everybody. Cheers to you all. And Jane, cheers to you.